It's been all right. That stream just realized I had you on mute. Just realized that. Okay. All right. This is what we're gonna do, guys. All right. We're back. It's been 2 weeks. I'm still consistently streaming. I'm gonna do my best to make sure I come out with the best content for you guys, pushing more and more content, pushing more and more content, pushing more content, pushing more content. All right. I'm sorry, my brain had a fart. Um, so this is what we're gonna do today. I'm gonna do two things. We're gonna go over a few products, and then like a few products that are different. A bunch of the carriers that I am partnered with, that I'm contracted with, so that we can kind of give you guys a overview of pretty much what everything entails. Kind of like some overriding, some underwriting. Maybe if I can find some underwriting guides, then definitely sure. If not, then we'll just put that off. But put that off for next time. And then for the last half, I'm gonna do like big informational life insurance and tips, tricks, what you want to be doing, what you want to be learning, things of that nature. So other than that, we're gonna have a good time. Good time. We're gonna shout out to YouTube, shout out to my Kicksters, shout out to my Twitchers. I love y'all. All right, let's get into it. Let's bring up some products. Bring up some products for you. I'm brand new to streaming, so I don't really know exactly. I might just do all of this. All right. I'm not gonna really tell y'all the carriers that a lot of these products is from, just because I want to keep it discreet and I want to do my way. And a lot of insurers are very very picky about who they associate with online, what they want to do, who they associate with online, but they're very very picky. And if you do decide to name drop or attach yourself to them, they have very very strict social media. Like I gotta put disclaimers, and I gotta say disclaimers annoying to say, and every single I have opinion on someone's product or whatever, and I'm just not doing that. So this is the term. This is the one of the term products that I have. And remember, for the people who don't know the term means it expires. So anywhere between 10, the lowest I've seen 5, 10, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Um, I use this a lot because I specialize in mortgage protection. So covering people's mortgages with life insurance. And the most coverage that I can put right now is 2 million. So I can cover up to $2 million as long as you qualify for it. And pretty much like specifically for this specific product, like so they have different age class, like different builds. So like this is part one of it, and this is pretty much height, what your height is and weight. Based off of what your height and weight is, this is what kind of what class, either what class they want you to be in for you to qualify for this product. And if you don't fit in within these parameters, then you are not going to fit in this product at all. And they're gonna be so. If you are, I'm not gonna do them all because it starts from 410 to 611. I'll just do like the average height, like 5'5". If you're 5'5", preferred. If you weigh, you're gonna be in that preferred area if you weigh in between 111 pounds, 60. Preferred if you weigh 172 4. Standard if you at 195, 246, and that was standard plus. And then standard if you're in that 247 to 250 range. So that's kind of like the average. If y'all have some different heights and weights that y'all want me to cover over, but this is for a $2 million term, and then it goes off of septic issues. They can offer coverage. Like if you have any of these, they're not necessarily going to. So these are like the conditions that they're okay with covering in their guidelines. So we've got rheumatoid arthritis, ulcerative colitis, ulcer, or ulcerative colitis, ulcerative colitis. Um, as long as no surgeries, no hospitalizations in the last 2 years, diagnosed 6 months ago, no complications or medications needed, very infrequent flare ups. They'll do the rheumatoid arthritis if it has no impact to your mobility, minimal symptoms, no need for steroids, and you're older than cancer, if it's basal cell cancer and squamous cell cancer, whether it's single occurrence, localized and hasn't spread, or all follow up and all your follow ups have been completed. So those are the only two specific types of cancers that this specific area will accept. Cardiac and respiratory illnesses that it covers: asthma, no ER hospitalizations, no impact on daily activities, up to one medication, no need for steroids in the past year. Atrial fibrillation, no occurrence in the past 2 years, no required. All testing and procedures are complete, no procedure other than ablation. Sleep apnea, no daily symptoms of sleepiness, complaint with treatment, or no treatment required, no use of oxygen, and no use of medication. If you fall into any one of those categories, 9 times out of 10, you're probably going to be able to eligible for coverage. And then any non-medical like aviation, pilots. If you're a pilot and you're flying in the U.S. and Canada, or if you're with an aviation exclusion rider for your policy, driving record. So no more than 4 moving violations in the past 3 years. No WI, DUI, or reckless driving. No license rec- revocation or suspension in the past 3 years. So that's part one. Then we've got recreational scuba diving. marijuana use, military status. For the recreational scuba diving, you get up to 100 certified open water dives. No participation in wreck, salvage, ice, or cave diving. No for marijuana use, no tobacco rates. Rates based on frequency, types such as CBD, rate synthetic, oil-based, based, no recent synthetic. So if you're using marijuana with this specific carrier, they can still accept you as long as it has no tobacco. Um, you'll still get the non-tobacco rates as long as you are smoking real authentic marijuana, or and they'll obviously rate it based off of what you're using. So CBD, synthetic, oil based, or whatever, they will put you in your own class, and that may or may not um, increase your price for the cover. Military status, military reserves only with no call up orders received or anticipated, no special forces. Active duty is considered on individual basis. So if you're active duty, go over specifically if this is the carrier for you. Don't worry if um, I can get you approved, because this is not the only carrier that I'm contracted with. This is of so, but just with this specific carrier, if you're special forces, if you're in any type of special forces like Army Rangers, Navy SEALs, anything of that nature, this carrier is not. Mental health, any anxiety. The anxiety is fine as long as there's no history of hospitalization, suicide attempts, or substance abuse. Up to one medication, well controlled for at least 6 months. Depression is fine as long as there's no treatment for antipsychotic medications, no hospitalizations needed, up to one medication, no other mental nervous conditions, no substance abuse, and no suicide attempt. We've got PTSD is fine too, as long as there's no hospitalizations, employed slash no time off work. Um, Up to one medication, past or present. No history of self harm or suicide attempt, and no alcohol. Metabolic conditions, so diabetes is fine. Diabetes is fine as long as there's no insulin treatments, good control of blood sugar, no complications, and you were diagnosed over 40, diagnosed more than 6 months ago and less than 5 years ago, has followed up with a doctor in the past 2 years. Hyperlipidemia, high cholesterol untreated or treated. Cholesterol and ratio values are known as favorable. Hypertension, two or less medication, hospital, normal blood. And then we've got the last page, nervous system and neurological conditions. So multiple sclerosis. So have that. There needs to be no ability, relapsing, no need for crutches or relapsing slash remitting within less than 3 episodes per year. Diagnosed ages 35 or less. Current age under 40 or over 60. No, I do not know how to pronounce this. Tysabri, Tysabri use for seizure and epilepsy. So you need to have no, like it's fine as long as you haven't had any seizure in 5 years, in the past 5 years. No hospitalizations in diagnosed more than 3 months ago with an evaluation completed, and then no medicate, and you're not taking any. Last one right now that they have hypothyroidism, and it needs to be controlled. Diagnosed more than 6 months ago, and no. So those are the acceptable underwriting. That's kind of like the underwriting for this specific things. There's a whole list of declinables. So there's a whole long list of declinable. So any autoimmune disorders, like any autoimmune disorder with current use of Walker, or any systemic lupus, unless treatment is not needed, at least osteopathy patients, discoid lupus if age 20 less. Cancer for this specific product, yes, there are, but there don't get discouraged. There are. I am licensed with carriers that do take. Um, I am licensed with carriers that do take products that do take people that have cancer. I'm sorry, yeah, it's a whole long list. So we've got that's up to 10 to 40 years. So from 10 years at the smallest term to 40 years. That one, this one has living benefits. So in the sense of you get chronic, or chronic or terminal illness or permanent disability, you will also get. So in this specific case, you don't necessarily have to die. It can also be in the case of critical, chronic, or terminal illness. Um, and I think that terminal is with 6 months to live as well. I gotta don't quote me on that. I gotta go back and check. The face amount. So the smallest amount of coverage that they offer is about $100,000 coverage, and then all the way up to 2 million, like I said earlier. And then they're only issuing ages between 20 to 65 specifically. Um, and then we have another type of term. This doesn't have any living benefits, um, and it's not as much. But it is a lot more lenient with the underwriting guide. So the other one. So, but the minimum term is between 10 years and 30 years to the maximum. Um, they do offer a return of premium. So there are riders that pretty much at the end, once it's over, they will give you all the money back that you. That's why a lot of these are great. And then the smallest amount of coverage. Oh no! I lied! I lied! That was for another product. That was for another product. This does not have a return of premium option. And but the minimum amount of coverage is 100,000, so the max is 1 million. And then this issue age does start a little bit earlier, so from 18, but it does end a little bit earlier. And maximum coverage it offers is the previous was 60. Then we've got another term, another carrier that specializes in term. This is also really big in the space that I'm in. In these specifically, they offer a return of premium, meaning or an ROP, meaning at the end, like I said earlier, at the end of the term, you will get all the money back that you've been paying into the product. So this is very, very popular in my field, my specialization, mortgage protection, because once they don't have a mortgage, it's kind of like so. The minimum coverage they offer is $50,000 in coverage, all the way to the maximum, which is only $300,000. So there isn't that much of a range, but they do offer your money back at the end. So I mean, there's goods and bads, positives and negatives to each one and each carrier. You just kind of have to, and I will help you decide that. So For that specific product, they start at 18 years old, starting coverage at 18 years old, and then the maximum they go to 70. This term is the same. We've got, but I think this term only has like two options. So they only have a 20-year option and they have a 30-year option. So if you're not above that or within those ranges, then I'm probably not going to recommend those options to you. And then we've got for that specific product, they also have a return premium. So again, you get your money back at the end of it. But the guidelines is so the least that they do pick is 25,000. The most is 500,000. And the ages are a little bit wonky with this one. Starts at 20 years, older than 60. So these are for all the terms. Another term I have, no return of premium, but they do the maximum. The lowest that they give is 50,000. They the face amount. This is in the face amount for the people who don't know what face amount is. It means coverage. That's it. So if you hear me say face amount, that means coverage. That's how much they got approved in coverage. So meaning if they were to lose their life, get terminal, permanent, or critical illness, they would get that whatever coverage they were or face amount. So if their face amount was 500,000, if they fell into that category, their families would get 500,000. Okay, just to make things easy, guys. The minimum face amount they have is $50,000 all the way to the max is $500,000. And then the ages, the issue ages that they offer, issue ages means this is the range that anyone, if you're in this age range, you have a chance of getting approved for this. So for this specifically, it's 1865. So these are our final expense products. So anybody who specifically in my specialization, we use these type of products for us to build out kind of like a plan. So you're pretty much covering your family in you're pretty much covering your family in the case of like you're not covering the full mortgage. So maybe it's due to your health, maybe due to your age, maybe due to whatever. Maybe you're a little bit overweight. But due to some one of those circumstances, the carrier you're not eligible to pay off the full for a face amount to get a policy with the face amount that's going to cover the full mortgage. But let's say you did have a mortgage with and the on the loan was $500,000 for 30 years. Um, this will just say you had a condition that fell into an area where you you could not get the full coverage, which is cool. Um, that's perfectly fine. What we would do is we would set up a plan. So anywhere between 1 year, 2 years, maybe 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, and we would set up the face amount to cover 1 year payment, 6 months, 3 years of payment. So that it would give your family at least time to decide whether they're going to stay in the house or they're going to sell it, and it would give them plenty of time to not have to worry about the bills and not anything. So as we get into these, this specific carrier does have a guaranteed issue. Guaranteed issue for the people who don't know just means let's just think about it to make it simple. They approve almost everybody, meaning 9 times out of 10, if everything went wrong in your life and you somehow survive, you can get approved for this product. But the only caveat with guaranteed issues is that you do have to live 2 years within the policy issuing to get the full face amount. So let's say you got a face amount for $25,000. In order for you to get the full $25,000 of this product, of the full face amount, then you have to live 2 years after you got approved. So let's say you got approved tomorrow, which is February 10th. Um, that means you would have to live until February 10th, 2027. And then after that, then you'd be eligible to get the full face amount. If something did happen to you before then, they would just give you back the money that you were paying in the policy. That's it. You wouldn't get the full. Um, and typically these issue ages are a lot higher depending on if they specifically want to cater to find the older crowd, like anywhere between 60 years old to 85, all the way. But these can cover 15, 18, 18 to like 8. But for this specific product, so for this specific, now that I got this is a guaranteed issue, final expense product. So, but the minimum face amount that this product specifically does offer is $5,000. So like complete bare bones, just burial and maybe cremation. And then we also have from $5,000 to all the way up to $25,000. Um, the issue age for this specific product is 50 to 80. For the next one, like this next carrier doesn't necessarily. They also have a GI, but it's not their only product. They have a bunch of whole lives too. So for the first product, they have a express issue product, meaning it can be either super instant approval, meaning as soon as you submit the paperwork, you know if you got approved, which is helpful to me because right there on the spot, I know how to help you or if we have to push it off to. Then we have the other for this specific one, for this specific face amount, the minimum coverage is 5,000, all the way up to the maximum is $100,000. And then the issue ages are 20 to 80 years old. And then for the next one, this is just all the same carrier. It's $5,000 in face amount, all the way only up to $50,000. And then that's for the deluxe. It's still the age ranges, and this one can cover a majority of people. So this is kind of like just their whole life product, and you can get anywhere between $1,000 in face amount coverage all the way up to okay, and the age range for this one it covers all ages all the way up 0 fresh out the womb all the way up to 80 years old. And then for the uh, for theirs, and then we're at their GI, so they're guaranteed to issue. They're guaranteed to issue. The face amount is 5,000 all the way up to 25,000. And but their only issue ages for their GIs from 45 to 70. I don't know how long I've been going with this. They are streaming. Damn, Twitch, I've been almost an hour to. Well, we'll get more into more carriers later, but I do kind of want to pivot now, and let's talk about more just life insurance, the industry in general, kind of what you can expect, kind of things you guys want to learn. So okay, so um, life insurance industry. Last time I did kind of touch on kind of like what to expect, what you want to be looking for. Um, but I do kind of want to I want to address the expectation, and I know that this industry gets a lot of gets a big negative rep or reputation because of a lot of bad apples, of a few bad apples, or maybe scammers or just people on social media that oversell on, or just they feel like we're not truthful. But I think it goes both ways because I think on one end, yeah, sure, there are blowing things out of proportion and maybe not displaying business, maybe completely ethical business. Okay? But also on the other side, I think there is a really, 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 really big criticism on the life insurance industry for absolute, um, just because of maybe you get in the industry and then people are like, not everybody is a millionaire in the life insurance. Well, duh. Not everybody is a millionaire in the janitor industry. Duh. Like, I think that pisses me off a lot. Like people use that kind of as a gotcha, but I just feel like shouldn't that be common sense? There's a reason why they're the top 1%. But if you wanted to join this industry because you've seen the success, if you are not willing to work for it, don't join the industry. There's a lot of like a lot of people view this industry as a license to print money. There's a lot of people view it like is easy money. It's not easy, but it's simple. It's simple. Don't confuse simple and easy. Simple means it's not complicated or there's not a lot of steps. There's not like you don't have to be Albert Einstein to sell life insurance. You don't. But what you do have to be is committed. You have to be sold out to it. You have to want it. You know, it it works just pretty. This is the only the main way to be successful in this industry. Like when you compare to people who aren't producing to the people who are producing, the only difference. Let's pretend like there really is a skill gap, right? Let's just pretend like there's some people talented and yada yada yada. Yeah, let's pretend like it. At max, at max, it's 50% max. So let's just give them 50%. Even though really, in reality, I think it's only like 10. But let's give them 50. Let's be generous. That means the other 50%, you can get up to them. You can make up 50% of the way with just work and activity. So if you know that the high performers are running 20 to 25 appointments every day, don't you think if you wanted to be a high performer, you need to run 20 to 25 appointments every day? You are not going to get there running. You're only running 1 or 2 appointments every day. Or worse, 1 or 2 appointments every other day. But you expect to be making $1 million? You can't write a policy that big. The commissions are not that big unless you're writing annuities. But even with annuities, you still need a lot of reps to find the annuity people. So, like, and let's just pretend you're not working on the weekends, even though the high performers are. They are working on Saturdays. It may not be all day Saturdays, but they're definitely working on Saturdays. Maybe like 10 to 4 or 11 to 6 or 5. One of those, but they are working. A lot of them do work on Saturdays. Maybe not every Saturday, but they do work Saturdays. So let's just pretend like they don't. 25, let's use 20 appointments. 20 times 5, that's 100 appointments every week. That's 400 appointments a month. And you're surprised that they're doing 60 grand a month, 70 grand a month, 80 grand a month? They're running 100 appointments. They're working 100 hours a week. Now, obviously, not everybody's going to show up to their appointment. But if only half of the people show up to their appointments, they're working 50-hour weeks. If an appointment is an hour long, that's 50 hours of work every week. Times 4, they're working 200 hours a month. That's why they're making big bucks. You go in there, you run in one appointment every other day, and you only work 5 days a week. You're working 2 hours a week. You're working 8 hours for the whole month. If you were at any job, and you worked 8 hours for the whole month, you would starve and survive. And then you're wondering why life insurance isn't working because you're only working 8 hours. You're only working 8 hours a month. It's still sales. It's still a business. It's still like, but it's just with anything like. So if you're not willing to put in the work, if the expectation isn't there, this is not for you. Don't join. Click off this stream. Click off this live right now. Save yourself the time. It's not worth it. Um, but if you are worth it, the next most important thing behind what your expectation is who do you have guiding you? Because there are people who will get in your way. There are people who will be jealous of you and try to sabotage your success. There are people, even though they are getting paid off of your success, there are people who will literally not train you, not tell you. And even in the sense, like, you can learn a lot of the stuff by yourself by just doing the work. But in the sense of, like, they won't train you, they'll keep stuff from you just because they don't want you to know more. There's a lot of that in this industry. So it is important for you to do your research on a good mentor, try to learn everything about them that you can. Don't just follow and sign up with them because they have 50,000 followers on Instagram. Really vet them out. If you can, talk to people who's worked with them. If you can, and when you talk to these people who's worked with them, oh, make sure you ask them how many hours did they work in the business, how many appointments did they set every day, how many leads were they buying. If they weren't buying leads, what ads were they running? And if all of those answers are zeros, but they're blaming their upline, it's probably not their uplines and probably them. So just bear that in mind. Beware of those people. Don't take any advice from those people. But like, it's easy, it's simple, not easy. It's simple to make it in the insurance industry, but you just have to make sure that you're doing the work that you're doing the work and you're backing up what you're doing with your work ethic. And then the rest, y'all already know the rest cliche. Set goals, get your mind right. But don't overcomplicate this industry. It's just a numbers game. Want to make more sales? Talk to more. That's it. You're not going to learn this super fancy sales trick. Oh, this sales trick works 100% of the time. Even if you're let's say you did find the sales trick that worked 100% of the time. You're only working one appointment every other day. It's not going to make a difference. So you went from making 1,000 a week to 2,000 a week. That stuff only makes a difference if you have the activity to back it up. So what you need to do is you need to find a good mentor, and then once you find a good mentor that really cares about your success, then you back up, you reward your mentor with the work ethic to back up their mentoring and their teaching. And that perfect combination, I promise you, if you're running the right amount of appointments that you need to be running and you have good mentoring and you are training, it'll be very, very, very difficult for you to not make six figures, seven figures, even eight figures in this industry. That's a fact. That is a fact. The other day, I literally made $88. I woke up to $88 from a commission from a renewal on a policy that I wrote like 2 years ago. This industry can pay, but you have to work. It's not gonna be candy canes and Christmas. It's not gonna be you come to work, you call two people every day, you dial two people and they don't pick up, and then you dial two people tomorrow and then they don't pick up, and then you give up for the rest of the day, and then you dial two people the next day, and then it's not gonna be that. You're gonna be dialing. You're gonna be dialing a lot of people. So if you're not willing to do that, then just stay out the industry. It's not for you. And I hope I can save a lot more people before they waste their time. Like, find something else to do. If you don't want to talk to people on the phone and you get scared, this is not no e-commerce where you sit on the computer all day and never talk to nobody. You will have to talk to people. If you don't want to talk to people, then this is not the industry for you. But I am gonna get off of here because my brain really doesn't want to do this right now. I'm kind of worn out. I don't know. But I had to. I'll see y'all next week. I'll have some more content planned. I'll think about more exciting things that I can do. I love y'all. Y'all be safe. K Charlie AP out. If you have any questions, put them on my YouTube videos. Should I start a Discord? Let me know if I should start a Discord in the comments. Make sure you sub up. Make sure you like. Make sure you save. Make sure you go binge watch my channel. Go binge my shorts. Make sure you follow on Twitch. Sub up and kick. Make sure you sub up. Love y'all. Y'all be safe.